Be confident, be bold, be authentic, but don't forget to take action. This is Ordinary to Badass, where our stories empower women to step into the spotlight of their own lives and pursue what they're truly passionate about. It's time to step into the arena and become more than just extraordinary. It's time to become a badass with your host, Marie Sonneman.
Welcome to Ordinary to Badass, episode number 230. In this episode, you're going to hear from Kara Goodwin. Kara helps people to raise their vibration through meditation and energy healing. There's so many good nuggets in this episode. Can't wait for you to listen. But, well, there's so many good nuggets in Kara's episode. Yes, there'll be good stuff in this episode, but it's all about Kara and 3 reasons why she's so badass. If you're loving this podcast, I would love it for you to head over to iTunes and leave a 5-star rating and review. Your feedback absolutely helps. And if that's not your jam, then just hit the little 3 dots at the top corner of your podcast player and share it. There should be an option to share, and then share it with a friend who you think that it would help, or who is a badass and wants some resources, wants some other badass women by their side. All right, with that, let's get to the episode. Welcome to Ordinary to Badass. Whether you're ordinary or badass, I'm so glad you're here. Today, I'm going to share 3 reasons why Kara Goodwin is so badass. So Kara is all about helping people raise their vibration through meditation. And there was so many good but unexpected takeaways. And I've really been into this whole meditation thing lately. So there were still, of course, we're always growing and always learning, but there were still things that I hadn't thought about or hadn't heard about, like meditation being part of being more authentic to who you are, standing your own ground, like listening to that inner voice. And then also just like the confidence part of it. Really, the confidence part of it, I never thought of, but I love that. So 3 reasons why Kara Goodwin is so badass is how she exposes the hidden. That's number 1. Number 2 is her response to destruction. And the 3rd is how she deprograms conditioned responses. So let's get into it. The first reason Kara is so badass is for exposing the hidden. So during the interview, Kara talked about this idea of icebergs. And she said that, icebergs, you see the tip of the iceberg, and really that's just barely what's going on. That's just the tip of the surface. That's only what you see above the water. But then usually below the water, there are these massive icebergs, and we don't really know what's going on down there. You don't know how big they are, but a lot of times it's a lot bigger on the bottom than what you see above the water. And so she said this is kind of like your subconscious mind and what's going on in your head. You usually don't see all of the things that are going on above water. You don't see all the things that are really going through your head, because there is a lot. And some of it is subconscious, so we don't even quite realize it, or we don't know it. And so Kara exposes the hidden through meditation. And she said that really helps her to get to know herself better, gets to understand herself better and know who she is, kind of like I talked about it a minute ago. It helps her to, gain confidence and to realize, like, okay, I can stand my own. I can stand in my ground because I am secure in who I am. And that's huge, huge. So Kara said that it helps her, this meditation helps her to catch things that keep cycling through her head, that keep kind of that you're ruminating on, or you have thought maybe for many years. It could be a belief that you have, but then when you get still, you get silent, it helps you start to expose some of those. It helps you start to catch those cycling or those thoughts that are going around and around in your head. And then this is huge, or at least to me, you catch thoughts and you realize that's not true. Everything you think is not true. But if you're getting silent and you're really paying attention, then you're going to find out, okay, that thought has really been cycling. And you know what? Maybe there's not truth to that. And at least you can evaluate it, right? Evaluate it and see if it's still true for you. Maybe it is still true for you, and that's cool. And maybe it's not. If it's no longer true for you, that's where you can start to evaluate. You could say, okay, is this how I want to think? Does this align with my values? Is this where I want to be? Or the whole point of meditating is just sitting with it. You could just sit with it and recognize it. And one thing I'm not always great at, but always a work in progress, is just like watching the thoughts go by and not judging the thoughts that you have, but just letting them go by. And isn't that interesting? Or you get curious about it, right? Instead of judging it and being like, oh, that's so wrong. I can't believe I was thinking that. Can't believe I was doing that. Can't believe that thought was cycling through my head. No judgment. Just be curious. So I love how Kara exposes the hidden. And some of these, again, you're not going to recognize, you're not going to realize until you're sitting down, doing the work of meditation. And over time, you start to have different realizations that you might not have realized before. All right. Second reason why Kara Goodwin is so badass is her response to destruction. Man, if you listen to the episode, you know Kara had a lot going on. Like, all of this stuff started happening to her family members. It was like crazy. One thing after another, it's like people were dropping them like flies. She even said, I hated answering the phone, because she would answer the phone and then bad news would come, right? So that's hard. That's really hard. And a lot of people would respond to that sort of destruction, even one of those things, like a death of a loved one, a family member has a health issue. Even one of those things could break anybody down. And often after something like that, it's easy to turn to drugs, turn to alcohol, turn to food, whatever that thing is that helps you fill that void, or it seems like it helps you fill the void. It's easy to turn to that, but not Kara. That is the exact thing that led her to meditation. So I love that instead of turning to an unhealthy obsession, that she turned to a healthy one, and it completely changed her life. So what crappy thing are you going through? What hard thing has happened to you? How are you dealing with it? There are many ways to deal with it. There are many ways to handle it. You know, it could be going to therapy. It could be doing any of the things that I mentioned before, like drugs, alcohol, food, spending, anything like that. Or it could be meditation. Or here's the other thing. If what you're doing is not working for you, maybe it's time for something different. Maybe it's time to make a change. Maybe, just maybe, we listen to Kara and try it her way. Because for somebody that went through as much trauma, as much hardship as she did, she's doing pretty darn good right now, right? Yes, we all absolutely have to handle things in our own way. There's no cookie cutter way. Same with meditation. There's no cookie cutter way to meditate. What works for one might not work for another. So maybe you do silent meditation, or you do guided meditation. Or if that's not your thing, maybe you start yoga instead. Yoga can be pretty meditative. Or just go sit outside in nature. You just try different things and see what is your form of meditation. And how you feel afterwards. That's the big thing, is how you feel afterwards. So I would just ask you to look at your patterns, to look at what's going on, to look at how you're dealing with hardship. And is there a different way? All right. The third reason why Kara Goodwin is so badass is because she deprograms conditioned responses. So Kara is often looking at the things that she always says or does and the things she was brought up to believe, and she reflects on those. And it sounds like maybe I'm putting words in her mouth, but ask, like, is this true? Is it true for her? Is it true for now? Is it true for the point in life you're at, right? So she looks at being late. She was taught when she was growing up, being late was a bad thing. And so that was always like her pet peeve, the thing she always strived to be right on time or early because she thought being late was bad. And then with her kids, she started to look at it. Like, is this true? Does it mean something about them just because they're late? Does it mean that they think a certain thing about me because they're late? You know, sometimes it's easy to start thinking like, do they not value my time? They're always late when we're meeting up, or they're always late when we're doing something. Maybe they don't value me. Maybe they don't appreciate me. Or what if it has nothing to do with you? Maybe they're just constantly somebody who runs late. Or maybe they just had like the worst news of their life or the worst morning. Like, you just don't know. But you can reflect. You can ask yourself, are these conditioned responses really accurate? Do I really hate that somebody is late? Is this what I want to feel or think about people who are late? Is this what I want to think about myself when I'm late? Right? It's reflecting on all of those things. So maybe you look at things in your life and you start to reflect on them and say, do I need to feel disrespected right now? Do I need to feel offended if somebody does X, Y, or Z? If somebody is always late to meeting with me, do I need to feel mad about that? Or is that okay? If people are always loud and I was always very quiet and grew up in a reserved family, that's not my situation. I'm just saying, like, if that's yours, do you need to be irritated by people that are always loud or people that are always social, right? Maybe you're very introverted, or maybe you're a people pleaser and people who are not that way bother you. It's just reflecting on different values and different things and wondering, is that still true for you? Is that something that you need to be bothered by? And you know what? Meditation definitely is there to help deprogram conditioned responses, because as Kara was saying, based on the culture you grew up on, who you grew up with, that's going to teach you certain ways about life. And you start to believe things about yourself, and it can hit your confidence too, just because it's simply how you were raised and the culture you were raised in. So meditating can help you reflect on that and help uncover some of those things that are, you know, your conditioned responses, but can help you to deprogram them. And that's pretty badass. So just a quick recap, 3 reasons why Kara Goodwin is so badass. 1, because she exposes the hidden. 2 is her responses to destruction. And 3, how she deprograms conditioned responses. So I absolutely love the episode with Kara. All things meditation, I'm definitely into right now, but also like the unexpected gems that were in there. So go back, give it a listen. And if you liked this episode, I would love it if you headed on to iTunes and left a 5-star rating and review. Every single rating and review helps us out and gets other badasses just like you to find this podcast. All right, with that, let's end the show. To all the badass women out there staying in the arena, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, own it and get after it.
Now that you've listened to this episode of Ordinary to Badass, we want to hear from you. Go to our website, ordinarytobadass.com/podcast. and submit your own experience on how you took your life from ordinary to badass and get the chance to be on a future Spotlight episode of the show. That's ordinarytobadass.com/podcast. While you're waiting for the next episode of the show, wipe off the sweat, dust off the dirt, and get back in the arena.